The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Jackson County Fire District 3, Oregon, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 33871. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Let's take a look underneath the front bumper, where you have 2 sweeps on the right and left side just under the corner of the bumper. Moving up from that location, you'll find cutouts for your horn and also emergency sirens. Moving further up, you'll find on the passenger side 1.5-inch swivel discharge with a cutout for that discharge in the lid, and also a tubbed storage location with a D handle. Moving to the center, you'll find an additional tubbed storage location with access via a D handle. Moving all the way to the driver's side, same thing, D handle will gain you access into that tubbed storage area. And then on the far right hand side, you'll find a swivel 1.5-inch discharge. Moving up onto the cab face, on the grille you'll find 2 forward-facing emergency lights. Just above the freight liner identifier, you'll find a grab handle for gaining access for tilting the hood. And to the right, you'll find your headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights and also a turn indicator. Let's go ahead and take a look at some close-ups. Starting under the bottom front bumper area, you'll find your open-ended tow hook. Moving from this location to the outside passenger and driver's side is where you'll find your front spray or sweep. Moving up onto the side of the bumper extension, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. As we look to the location where those discharges are, you'll find the cutout section for the discharge valve. It's an open and close. You'll also find the 3 tubbed storage locations do have dry deck material inside. Let's move up onto the face of the cab, where you'll find 2 emergency warning lights and also the grab handle at the very top above the Freightliner logo. Headlights housing a low and high beam and turn indicator. As we move to the side of the vehicle, on top of the fender, you'll find your marker turn light. As we move just up from that location, you'll find dual air horns on the passenger and driver's side. You'll also find the air inlet on the driver's side. Let's move to the very back side of the hood, where you'll find the release mechanism for opening your hood. There's one on the passenger and also on the driver's side. You have aluminum Alcoa wheels and Michelin tires. Moving back up to that release mechanism, simply lift on the lower section, allows you to release the mechanism. Both sides are open. Reach up and grab the center grab handle to tilt the hood. As we move to the side, you'll find your ultra-low sulfur diesel. It's the silver cap. Just to the rear of that, you'll find a plastic tank housing the blue DEF cap. You do have door handles that are keyed for gaining access inside, and also grab handles at all points of entry. Moving up onto the mirrors, at the very bottom section, you'll find a convex mirror. Moving up toward the top section, you'll find a flat mirror. Let's move now just inside the cab door. On the door panel itself, you'll find all of your warning and danger labels located on the door panel. As we move down, you'll also find this yellow placard. This is the manufactured by Pierce. It has the information regarding date of manufacture, the 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, fluid capacities, and types. Moving now inside the cab, down at the lower section of the floorboard area is where you'll find your battery switch. You'll also find an internal grab handle for getting access in and out of the cab. And you'll also find comfort controls located on the seat. Let's take a look just inside the cab, where you'll find the master battery switch located on your left-hand side of the driver's seat. As we look inside at the comfort controls, you'll find an air ride seat and also adjustable in the front. Your vehicle is a keyed ignition. It's on the left-hand side of the steering column. Let's move up from this location. We'll identify a few items here, first starting with this black placard. Height of the vehicle, 10 feet 2 inches, length 26 feet 4 inches, gross vehicle weight rating 35,000 pounds. If you make any alterations or changes to your vehicle, please update this placard. Moving back up to the very top is where you'll find your speed control. This is for your cruise control for your vehicle. Moving downward, you'll find set, excel, and coast switch.
Moving further down, you'll find the headlight control, which will also control all of your running lights. Moving further down, you'll find the increase or decrease for that speed control. Let's move to the right-hand side of the steering column. Let's first start with the identifying in the upper left-hand corner. This is your air filter minder. Moving further down, you'll find the Allison transmission pad with a digital readout. Moving to the right, you'll find 4 switches. These are your automatic windows for front and rear. To the right, you'll find the pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. Moving further to the right, you'll find your mirror heat. Just to the right of that, engine brake. And then all the way to the right, your high-low range, and then all-wheel drive. Moving to the very far right, you'll find 2 outlets, first USB style, and then also a cigarette lighter outlet. Moving down, you'll find your door locks, and then your regen information on the very bottom. Down in the next section down, you'll find your climate control. Let's go ahead and look overhead of the driver's location, where you'll find push on and off white lights inside the center area, and also storage locations on the passenger and driver side. Located directly in the middle is where you'll find your monitor for your backup camera. Let's move down to the lower dash, where you'll find some indicator lights. First, the green is battery and OK to engage high idle. To the right, you'll find a red do not move your truck. And further to the right, a open door, and then low voltage. Those are your 3 indicators that would be red in color. To the right, you also have 3 green indicators. 1, pump engaged, OK to pump, and then OK to pump and roll. Let's move further down. We've got a few rocker switches here. We'll talk a little bit about them, but I'm not going to go through the specifics. On the very top, they're going to be your emergency master, which will control all of your emergency lights. It also has an air horn. Moving further down, you'll find pump and lighting control also. Moving all the way to the very far right, the module in the upper right corner is your siren and PA speaker system. Moving further down, you'll find the traffic advisor. There is an low, off, and high settings position, also a function, and also a directional indicator on the far right-hand side, lower portion of the module. As we move down, you'll find your electric prime for your fire pump, and then also a digital readout for your pump pressure, an in-cab indicator for the amount of water indicating empty, quarter, half, 3/4, and full. You'll also find these throughout the various locations in your cab. This is a warning label. It's just indicating that you have spare wiring behind this panel location. Let's move further down, where you'll find your ground sweeps for the left side and right side of the truck, and then also some future switch locations. As we move to the exterior rear doors, you'll find your auto charge system. When plugged into shore power, which is your red plug location, this is an auto eject plug. Let's take a look at it closer. First, the auto charge at the very top. This will activate when plugged into shore power. As we move down, access for the D handle for an additional compartment space. And then let's go ahead and go all the way up to the top of the steps. Just look inside the door. You can see you have 2 forward-facing seats in the very rear section. In between the rear seat, you'll find the auto charge system. And then let's go back exterior, and we'll talk a little bit about the pump panel area. We'll start down at the lower portion of your pump panel, just under the side board. First, you'll find all of your color-coded and labeled discharge drains located across the very bottom. Moving up above the diamond-plated area step, you'll find your driver's side auxiliary inlet. This is a 2.5-inch female inlet. In the center, you'll find your foam operations for foam draft and tank. Moving just to the right, you'll find the number 1 driver's side discharge, red in color, 2.5-inch. And just above that, you'll find the air inlet next to the Pierce logo. Let's move up to the next section, where you'll find your large diameter pump intake. To the right, you'll find a warning label regarding foam failure. Do not mix different brands, consistencies, or types of foam. Moving up from that location, you're going to find your capacity, whether you're pressure engaged or capacity engaged. Moving further to the right, you'll find access through this door to the rear section of your pump area. And then moving up to the very top, you'll find a warning label here that only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and only after they've received proper training. Just up to the left-hand side, we're going to find a warning label here regarding pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure when they are open. Be cautious. You'll also find a dead lay, and then also your number 1 cross-lay water foam capable discharge. Moving further to the right, you'll find your engine cooler. These are going to be twist style, not pull. And then as you move just to the right of that location, you'll find this placard regarding your 150, 200, and 250 test pressures. This is your minimum operation maintenance schedule. Above that, you'll find the real discharge water foam and flow. And then you'll also find just to the right your tank fill and also tank to pump. You can see that in is open and out is closed. Let's move to the very far right for your primer. It is an electric prime. There are instructions and caution label just below that primer. Let's move up from this location. We'll talk at the very top of the panel. You're going to find your master gauge. This is your pump discharge. Just beneath that, you'll find the master gauge for your pump intake. As we move to the right, we have a combination indicator here. Left side will be water, and the right side will be foam. Those are for empty, quarter, half, 3/4, and full. We do have an indicator here also indicating OK to pump that's green. And then next to it, you'll find an audible alarm speaker. The outer edge of that bezel does allow you to dampen the sound. Let's go ahead and move down to the next section lower to the next module, which is your pressure throttle governor. Starting on the left-hand side at the very top of the module is your check engine light. If illuminated, it would be yellow in color. Moving toward the center, you'll find a digital readout for the RPM. Moving to the very far right, if illuminated, it would be red in color. That is your stop engine light. We'll go ahead and move through some of the modules now. Starting on the left, the orange menu button. This will allow you to scroll through the various menu functions. In the center, you'll find all of your diagnostic information for your engine. And then moving to the right-hand side, you'll find a red silence button that allows you to silence an audible alarm. Moving to the left, you'll find 2 buttons, RPM and pressure mode. These are the 2 options that you have, either throttle or pressure, and that can be moved through the menu position. You'll also find a digital readout in the middle, an OK to pump, which is a green indicator, a green preset button, and then also down at the very bottom, you'll find a throttle, right to increase, left to decrease, push in the very center for idle. Moving to the right, the next module is your Husky foam system. First, starting at the very top, you'll find the green indicator button for on and off. To the right, you'll find instructions for foam operations. You'll also find a digital readout for the foam percentage. To change that percentage, it's the 2 gray buttons, either increase or decrease. To the right, you'll find a yellow prime button, and then you'll also find an indicator light on the very far right-hand side. When that light is flashing, the information as to its flash is at the very top section under number 4. Moving to the right, you'll find your foam system instructions. Moving further to the right, you'll find 2 vacuum and pressure test gauge ports. They are currently plugged. This is for your pump testing. Moving further down, you'll find the real rewind button. Let's go ahead and take a look now at the dead load location. To access that, it's simply undo the vinyl covering black on the outside. Moving to the very top, we're going to find your booster line or red line. You'll find a tensioning screw on the upper left-hand corner. Moving now to the body, you'll find a tank indicator. This is a water level indicator. You'll also find a side-facing floodlight, and then to the rear, you'll find an upper and lower emergency warning light. Let's take a look at some close-ups of the body section. First, starting in front of the axle, you'll find SCBA bottle storage location. Let's move directly over the axle where you'll find an additional compartment. Adjustable shelving, LED lighting. Let's move back to the rear section of the axle where you'll find additional bottle storage locations with retaining straps. And then we'll move all the way to the rear section, uppermost compartment. You'll find 3 adjustable shelves and LED lighting. As we move to the very bottom section, you'll find an additional compartment, and underneath that compartment, you'll find your wheel chock. Let's go ahead and move around now to the rear section of the apparatus. We'll start down in the lower left-hand corner with the drop-down step area. This is in the closed position. We now have it in the open position. There is a latch on the very top for allowing you for closing. Just inside of that location, you'll find a right and left-sided attachment point. Moving now up from the step area, you'll find your brake, turn, reverse, and emergency light lower section. As we move to the very top of that, just below the scene light, you'll find a LED indicator for water level. To the right, you'll find a flag location. And then we do have some warning labels. One, do not ride on the back of the apparatus. Be cautious when climbing. And then also a label here regarding entanglement because of those hoses coming from aloft. We do have a rear-facing scene light. Just above, you'll find an emergency warning light. Additional compartments at the very top with pan doors, and we'll go now down to the very bottom section of your apparatus, first starting with a pressure warning hazard. On the left-hand side, you can see caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. You'll also find a rear discharge. This is a 2.5-inch discharge. Located in the center is a 2.5-inch female inlet. Moving further to the right, you'll find an 1.5-inch discharge. And then all the way to the very far right, you'll find your backpack fill location. Let's take a look underneath the bumper. We'll identify a few items here. Once again, the two shackles on the right and left side. Now as we move to the rear open compartment, you can see LED lighting inside this compartment, in addition ventilation. As we move upward, you'll find your traffic advisor just above those doors, and at the very top, you'll find your backup camera. Let's go ahead and move down to the lower right side of the rear section of your apparatus. First with the cluster for brake, turn, reverse, and emergency lights. Above that, you'll find a pan door D handle, which gains access for your ladder storage, 24-foot extension, 14-foot roof. At the very top of this compartment, you'll find long tool handled storage. Same configuration as the other side when it comes to emergency lights and rear-facing scene lights. At the very top, you can see there are 3 hose dividers at the very top section. They are clustered at this point just for travel. Let's go ahead and move on to the very top of the apparatus. We'll identify a few things. First, those are those adjustable center dividers. Moving to the left-hand side of the truck, this is the driver's side. You do have an additional storage unit at the very top section. This is part of your enclosed hose bed. As we move to the right-hand side and access in this location to the dunnage area, you'll find your Husky foam system pump. We do have additional compartment storage. Now moving to the booster line or red line. Back to the covered of your hose bed area in the dunnage area is where you'll find your water tank fill location directly in the center. We move just in front of that location, you'll find your foam application for foam A. On the top of that foam tank, we do have a warning label regarding foam failure. And once again, do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam. Let's go ahead and move back down to the ground area onto the passenger side rear. Just a quick look and we'll identify items here. Let's first start down at the very bottom section with your wheel chock. You also have the compartment pan door and then emergency side facing light. As we move upward into the next compartment, you'll find 3 adjustable shelves, LED lighting in addition with ventilation. As we move just to the rear of the axle, you'll find SCBA bottle storage in this location for 2 bottles. Moving to the rear wheel, you'll find the Alcoa wheel and also Michelin tires. These are dual wheels. Just in front of that, you'll find your exhaust. As we move to the very top section, you'll find an adjustable shelf. Up further above that compartment, you'll find side-facing scene light and then also a water tank level indicator. Let's move back down to the axle area. In front of the rear axle is where your exhaust is. We do have a warning label here regarding extremely hot diesel exhaust. Be cautious where you park your vehicle. Moving up from this location on the side panel, you'll also find a pressure warning hazard. Once again, caps may be under pressure. As we move further up, you'll find a step light in addition with a side-facing passenger side auxiliary inlet that's directly into the pump. Further up, you'll find a discharge, 2.5 inch, and at the very top, you'll find your access door, which is a panel door inside the pump area. You do have a long compartment located on the far left-hand side. The door is currently open. Couple more close-ups of the items we just talked about. At the very top, you can see the 2 spools for your booster line onto the passenger side. General view here of the side pump panel. Back to the step area, you'll find 2 D handles, which will gain access to open doors for an additional storage location under the right rear section of your cab. Let's look inside the cab. Once again, you'll find all of your warning labels affixed to those door panels, grab handles, and door lock. Let's go ahead and move to the front area. This is the officer seat or passenger seat. You'll find your vehicle data recording port. As we move to the front axle, you'll find Alcoa wheel and also Michelin tires. Moving back up to the top, you'll find your turn indicator light and then also the release for the hood on the lower left corner. As we move to the passenger side front bumper, you'll find emergency light forward facing on the bumper extension. Just a general view here of the front and passenger side of the vehicle. Congratulations, Jackson County Fire District 3, Oregon, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 33871. If you have any questions regarding your apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.